My stream just dropped. All right. All right, so where did we leave off on Monday? I think we had just gotten R2 bindings in, but I wasn't feeling super confident about the errors. So I think I want to send Claude out on a mission to double check his errors. So let's look there. Effect-cloudflare. And let's see here. We added R2. All right, so we're just gonna say get Claude going here. We can probably do a Claude continue maybe. Okay, no. We can clear that, and we can do. Let's see here. So we want over here. Whoa. Please audit the errors in source internal R2. All right. Bucket. And we'll have that run. Let's maybe create a plan to do it. And let's chat. I'm tired. Good Lord. Yeah, I know. I got so many messages yesterday about it. Let's go. Some DGD. Why is GitHub so slow? This is going to be super cool if this gets into effect 4.0, which I want to go check on that too. We are looking for effect small. What have we been working on? Schema cleanup. Dude, Julio cooks. Look at this. This module provides a data structure called service map that can be used for dependency injection in effectual programs. It is essentially a table mapping services identifiers to their implementations, be used to manage dependencies in a type-safe way. The service map data structure is essentially a way of providing access, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that looks good. In, out, A. That's clever. This is actually a really clever way to construct things. I actually really like this syntax where I push this function down to the next line. That's interesting. Oh, that's kind of weird that get an update returns the old value. Like, so many of these like internals are like nicely implemented. Like, none of this is like too super complicated, and subscription refs are so important. All right, what do they got open for pull requests right now? Unify sync try promise APIs. Operations that don't throw. I don't understand what this is proposing. Oh, I see what this is proposing. It's proposing to get rid of try. Interesting. Tim Smart does not seem convinced. Oh no. I'm afraid to open this link. Oh. Dude, so many people just jump on that meme now. It's so annoying. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I almost opened a PHP PR last night. There is one thing that drives me absolutely crazy on Cloudflare's dashboard. One thing above all else. And it's that if you make a new account, let me log out and just do like sign up, and we'll do like this, and we'll do like plus dev, and we'll just do, yeah, we'll use a suggested password. Actually, no, we're not going to do that because you all just fucking saw that. I'm going to blur my screen. Am I blurred? All right, I am blurred. Verifying human. Oh, they don't let alias. Damn. That's annoying. I don't even like have another email to use. Edit. Can I not really delete this? How the fuck? Can I just delete this? Delete, there we go. Is my mic louder than usual? Yeah, it is actually. I'm peaking like every time I talk. Test, test, test. Is that a little bit better? That should be, hopefully. It looks better on my side on the audio bars. $10-minute email. Oh yeah, you know what? 10-minute email will actually work. iCloud Mail plus hidden email. I don't know how to use that. I'll have to look into that. We can use 10-minute email. All right, right. I want to show you guys this annoying problem. We'll use this. So we got 10-minute mail. Let's grab that. Let's go over to Cloudflare. We'll log out again. And we'll do sign up. We'll put that in there. And we're just going to do something here. It doesn't matter. And then if we go to our, you can already see it. This right here, why? Oh my God. Can I turn on dark mode? This, why is this capitalized? Why is the first letter capitalized? It drives me insane that this is capitalized. So I joked with Jimin from, I don't need to leak my DMs. Can I leak any of this? I can't really show this without leaking other stuff. I'll pull this up. So Jimin he's the CTO and founder of Infinite Red. He posted when I announced that I was going to Cloudflare that like the tiniest thing the noises are the capitalized for some reason. Why? And I also like found that insanely annoying. Oh damn, we have an ad in progress. And I'm also still blurred. I'll wait for ads to be up. Right. 10 seconds. Super admin access it. Not possible. Okay, ads are over. So when I first started or announced that I was going to Cloudflare, Jamin from Infinite Red made this post saying, I was mostly joking, but I'll let you know if I run into anything. The tiniest thing that annoys me is these capitalized for some reason. And I was like, that annoys the hell out of me too. So yesterday, I went hunting for the cause of this being capitalized. And I found it. My initial hope, well, I already knew beforehand that this wasn't CSS. So I knew it had to be happening on the server or in JavaScript code. It's not happening on the front end. It is happening in the server. And let me blur this quick so I don't leak DMs. Let me go into my messages with Jim. I found the code that is responsible for it. 7-year-old PHP. Seven-year-old PHP. Now, my lifelong mission at Cloudflare is going to be removing this line of code. I started digging through some other code bases, and I found integration tests that create accounts that expect it to be capitalized. I have no idea. I think it's vanilla PHP. I don't really know PHP. I just went digging, and I've been doing this long enough that like reading PHP is like not an issue. But if I do nothing else over the next couple of years, it will be hunting down every place that there is an assertion that creating a user is capitalized and methodically creating PRs to remove this line of code. And I read through like the commit or the PR where this came in 7 years ago, and I think, from what I could tell, the reason that happened, because it didn't used to be that way. The reason that happened, it looks like, is because there's a side effect when you create a user, or at least at the time, there was a side effect that created an account in Zendesk for the created account, and Zendesk automatically capitalized the account, so it was to like synchronize and keep the consistency between the Cloudflare name and the Zendesk account name. And it's just like, it's so funny digging into old code bases and finding stuff like that. Also, shout out to I'm gonna butcher your name, Nuno. Hopefully, I got that right. If you guys aren't following Nuno, amazing, probably one of the best, if not the best, really active PHP content creator and streamer. But yeah, my dying wish at Cloudflare is to hunt down every place that has the expectation of this being capitalized and fix it. All right, let's delete this account. How do I delete an account? I don't even know if I can delete an account. There's got to be, right? I can lie and say I'm like European or something. Delete. Oh, God. Oh, dude, I have no idea what the password saved as. This thing's cooked. Whatever. It can fall into the void. All right. Now that I've been distracted, let's keep cooking here. I should have opened this in another tab. We already verified that I think this code is working. I think we have like a scratch pad. Yeah, scratch. And we saw that this is working because we put the JSON file into our bucket. So our R2 bindings are working. We should probably, let's try to yield star and see if we can retrieve the file now. m.bucket.get, and we'll go for foobar.json. .json. What options do we have here? Only if range. We don't need those. And this will be const json. And this is going to be an option, and we'll just do an effect. Whoa, that's not what we wanted. We'll pipe, and we'll say effect.flatten, and this will automatically unwrap our error or our option. So now we just get the R2 object body. Before, if you noticed, it was this is actually part of what caused the problem at Cloudflare yesterday. Is doing something like this.
The camel. I speak the gospel of the dunes.
Particularly.
The sand is in my veins.
You see that change from option today to R2? If you flatten the option or flatten a effect, it will unwrap the wrapper. So you can see there, now we just get the R2 body. And we can come down here and we can say json dot blob body. We can convert this to a promise of t. We need to add bindings for the R2 object body. So we want to wrap that on the way out. But for the sake of this example, let's say this is just an object. We'll say obj for now, since object is a reserved word. We'll change this to obj, and we'll say constant value is going to equal effect.promise. We need to yield that first. So yield star effect dot promise. We'll just do the naive version, give it a lazy function, call that, and in fact we can just pass obj.json since that's already a function, and it'll automatically call that for us. Actually, no, let's make that lazy, and we can get a type in here. Maybe. Does this give us a type? It does. So we can give this a generic parameter, which is type unsafe. We should really use a schema here, but I don't care. So this should be foo bar. And now we should get that out over here, foo bar, and we'll do a console.log on value. And this should work. So your second day, huh? Thank you, Federico. Super appreciate you. I'm excited to hang out at Effect Days again. Whoa, what the fuck?
Functions describe the world.
Hold on here. Shouldn't Command D close the split? Now I'm just making more splits. I swear to God, Control D should be closing these things. I feel like I'm going crazy. Is it Option D? No. Control D? Yeah, there we go. Control D. There we go. And then we want to split left. So I can get this in. And we'll launch twit. Why? Where would twit have gone? The only thing I can think of is that Rust isn't being added to my environment. I did make a change. Hold on here, chat. I gotta get chat on the screen.
Functions describe.
I'm guessing that I made a change yesterday when I was working on my work laptop in here for okay. I must have deleted my Rust environment. Great debut. Thank you, Sebastian. I tried to ship a cron job and just things went sideways. Yo, this song slaps. I'm gonna go look at these other commits. Now I'm Why is that unverified? I gotta fix that. So not there. I really would have thought it would have been. Not there. There it is. Rust up. We want this. And we want to put rust up dot fish. And we want to do something similar to what we did Cloudflare warp certs. This guy right here. I always forget what the syntax does. Basically, like, just pipes the... what does that do? What does do in bash? Redirect standard error. So we just ignore the error. Great. That's fine for me. That should get Rust working again, at least over here. And let me do another split. No, we should have twit. There we go. Never want to be a stream with me without some sort of config issue. We're rusting. I can get out of there. Re-add rust up. Git push. No, dude, I abandoned Nix quite a while ago. I vibe coded this tool called Dot, and it's basically built on Brew and Stow, and it works so good, dude. I used it to set up my Cloudflare laptop on Monday, and it just like worked flawlessly. Like I have like completions for everything. I have like just so much good stuff in this. Like I can benchmark my shell. I can do updates, so like update all my dependencies. I have a .init that like sets up SSH keys and installs. I have bundles, brew bundles that installs everything. What else? Yeah, then I just use Stow to basically source control and map or symlink all my my files, and this just works. This gives me everything I was using Nix for with like no, I just don't have to fight Nix ever. Yeah, you could easily change these bundles to like have mappings for like Arch or something, or Debian or whatever. But yeah, I only work on OS X currently, so just using this. Like you would basically just make this equivalent file for whatever package manager you have, and then like if you look at like what a init does in here, it just like runs through, installs homebrew, installs packages, stows the dot files, installs bun, installs Cloud Code. In fact, I can probably remove Cloud Code because I'm moving to OpenCode, because I have access to OpenCode through Cloudflare's like corporate account, and yeah, this thing works so good. Anyways, go here. And let's see here. Unresolved. Workers SDK enforces 2048 bytes for custom metadata. So that's for mini flare. Let's follow the docs for that one. And we'll come here and we'll jump to the end. Oh, John, I was hoping you would join the stream. I wanted to talk about your question that you had on X, which let me remind me in like 5 minutes because I know I'm going to forget to go back to it. I want to get through this Claude code prompt and then I want to try running the one code sample I have. But I want to talk through the like architecture question you had on Twitter. Follow the docs. No such key. Let's do option.none. Keep as is for both. Okay, so we should see in here, that's the async stuff. I want to add in a biome. Let's, oh, we're still good here. Like, okay, bro, the project isn't even started. I want to see if we get this logged. So theoretically, I think this should actually work. So let's split this here, and we're just going to run. The fuck did that do? I have no idea what keybind I just hit. Anyways, I actually don't hate this setup now that I see it. Let's do down here pn dev. Very good. Very good. Dev. So if we hit this, if we curl that, and we delete this, oh shit. We delete this, John, and we hit HTTP localhost, and it's 64.818. Ooh. No such element exception. That's from flattening. Right here. So we did not get foobar.json, and the binding for that is a bucket called test bucket. Let's go see if that's actually in our test bucket. So let's go to Cloudflare dash.cloudflare.dev. Probably gonna have to log in again. Yeah, we want to log out of this account, and I want to log into Star Wars Outlaws. I don't know what that is. I'm not like up to date on video games, unfortunately. Effect-cloudflare worker. we have our bucket foobar.json. It's right there. No preview available. Why would we not be able to get that? What a boomer. Dude, I am totally a boomer nowadays. Is it single player? Or is it an MMO? I just can't do MMOs anymore. Single player? Maybe I'll have to check it out. All right, so foobar.json, we put it. I wonder if we can get, if we do like the raw version of this. So if we come here and we do like, we take this and we do an effect dot try promise, and then we can put a thunk in here, and we can come in here and say env raw dot bucket dot get, and if we get foobar.json, typo. What does this need? Range SSSec key. We don't have that in ours. Let's see if this works, because this should theoretically do something very similar. Or null. We'll just say that this is, let's do a console.log on obj when we get back. We'll get that, and we'll just run this. And can I set the port for dev in Wrangler? Dev port 9000. Great. Let's do that. Wrangler, come up here, throw that in. We lost our compat flags. And do that, and we'll say there's gonna be 6969. There we go. Now we can curl against 6969. And we still see that we fail there. So that's good at least. Let's do a Wrangler R2 object get. Is that what we want? And then we should be able to say foobar.json remote. This being the form of key. So did that just create a All right, so let's actually try going back here, and we'll do this, and we'll say temp/foobar.json, and we'll write that. We could probably make this extra type safe. So we put that, let's do this. We'll get rid of this. We got that. Now let's run again. I actually think I might get like a lava lamp to go back here on my shelves. All right, so we're still getting a no such, but if we look at, no, we're not using durable objects yet. I don't know if we'll get to durable objects. If we can debug this, do I have to reference test bucket? I wonder if that's the problem. Oh! Oh! We did it! I love the people who dunk on Rust air handling and then write go. Crazy how an unwrap. I mean, it's so like it's so on brand with like what I talk about all the time on stream, like my React Miami talk, like treating errors as values, man. That's what. If anyone didn't see the line of code that like, it wasn't the root cause, but it was a huge, it was the reason Cloudflare outage November 18th. Where's the line of code? Right here. So basically what was happening that too long didn't read is like, this was not the root cause. The root cause was that a ClickHouse cluster changed how they were using the system database and one of the other databases in it. They switched from using system or default, I guess, over to a named one. And that ended up causing this duplicate rows to be written, one for the default DB profile and one for the R0. So effectively, these features are like features for an ML model for classifying traffic as bots. And so this table, which gets updated very frequently across the ClickHouse cluster, went from having a pretty deterministic amount of rows to having doubled that. And in one of the proxy modules in FL2, which is frontline 2, that reads those in, it made the assumption, it allocates memory up front to handle up to 200 features. And normally there was 60. So they ended up unwrapping here, and that caused the panic. So it kept basically causing FL2 to fail basically all requests. Go is the only language I know who redefined dereference to make null pointers fine. It was slowly rolled out, but because that file that's read in here is processed in another job on like a cron, it didn't immediately indicate, and then like systems still going through FL1 didn't necessarily get impacted, so it was like obscured for a period of time, and then yeah, this is a really good read. It was very, very cool to watch the team triage in real time. It was like watching like SEAL Team 6 of like tech. The discipline that Cloudflare has internally on tracking the timeline and the actions they're taking is pretty remarkable. Like, this blog post was in a draft like less than 20 minutes into an incident. Like, they were already like noting things and using like a bot to note timelines of when they were doing things. Like, it was outages are obviously very bad and a negative thing and hurts customers and the web, but getting to watch a team of like experts handle that kind of a scale of an outage in the way they did was like truly remarkable and something you don't get to see maybe ever in a career. So it was interesting to watch. Right now, I'm splitting panes with a mix of NeoVim, Ghosty, and Tmux, funny enough. Actually, I don't have a split NeoVim in here, but I mostly use just NeoVim and Tmux. Yeah, I gained, not that I didn't have a ton of respect for Cloudflare already, but like, I've seen some pretty big outages at companies I've consulted at Vercel, and like Vercel still handles like outages incredibly professionally and methodically, but it was just a different level of organization and rigor. Watching it yesterday, it was super cool to watch, and I'm just like over here doing my payroll training as this is all going down. All right, so we fixed this. This is working great. So I feel good about the bucket. I want to go do some research now. Once this is done, I guess we want to wrap the object type, R2 object body, because if we look here, this is still a promise-based API, and we want the effect client to return a async version of this. So let's take care of that. So let's go into R2 bucket, and we probably want to end up, let's commit our changes so far because I'm feeling pretty good about them. Add R2 bucket with error updates. Choose 3, Rust. Oh wait, no reference for Vercel anymore? What do you mean by that, Ethan? I have not tried Google I mean, I use NeoVim, so like, I am not the audience for things like Cursor and Windsurf and anti-gravity. Like, I'm never ever going to use those things unless they become so insanely good that like I can no longer ignore the productivity boost from them, but like they're nowhere close to that, especially when I have open code or Cloud Code. Yeah, my position is remote. Here we go. And have a nice stream. Just a quick question. Everyone says that in programming you shouldn't do anything if you don't like it, and I'm learning JavaScript myself and I hate learning that. Does that mean I will never become a programmer? Absolutely not. I would find a language, or maybe it's not even like a programming language. Maybe it's more like pen testing or, you know, reverse engineering or whatever. Find a thing that makes you excited and learn that, even if it's super hard. The harder you struggle through learning something, the more it's going to stick. And you're not going to stick with learning something unless you're excited about it. So don't force yourself to learn JavaScript if that's not keeping your attention. All right, so we want Ethan, we both know that Beth wears the pants in your relationship. It's okay. I'm wondering if we should do an R2 object. Before we dive into this, I got what I wanted to do. I want to jump and talk about John's architecture question before I get too much ADHD and John posted a question. Could y'all help me with this task? I have like over 100 Excel files that have different columns, but have shared columns too. I need to load all those sheets into memory or a DB and be able to join all that based on one column. What do I use? Is this a one-time job, John? Or is this something you're gonna have to run often? Like, what is the upper bound of the number of files you have? And like, what is the upper bound on the amount of memory that it would take to hold all of them? Ethan's dummy wife sounds awesome. That's so funny. %70 attitude. Does she know you're saying that? I'm about to screenshot that and send it to her. Stateless would be awesome. Reload files, generate result, clean the memory. I'm not gonna lie, this screams to me like a job for MapReduce. I've never actually like shipped any system that uses an official like MapReduce system, but like this kind of is a MapReduce. You could also, yeah, Mongo seems probably fine here. You could also probably just use like a CSV parser from the command line and just write a script to do this. Like just use a CSV parser in some language. You could do that. I would try to keep it simple. Whatever is like, you could store everything but the distinct or the shared columns in like JSON columns. DuckDB actually, now that you say that, this I think might be a good use case for DuckDB. I actually think this is like almost exactly what DuckDB is built for. But like if it's only 100 files, like at a time, like this still might be overkill, right? Like that's pretty nice there. I'm still inclined to keep it simple and just use a CSV parser. Like 100 files, lots of sheets inside. Like, yeah, I would make some sort of pipeline to get this into a database of some kind then. I would just still try to keep it as simple, each step as simple as possible, and not to go overkill. That would be my advice. All right, what do we got here? We need to go to that R2 object body, and we're going to need a, we are going to need to, let's hope this is the only place that we have promises in here. In the types. Yeah, we need to make an effect equivalent of this R2 object body. So let's say this is going to be, we'll copy this, yank 11 down, we'll dump 11 down. This is gonna declaration merge, and we'll just say v2 here for a second. And this is actually going to end up being an effect. Why does something feel off on my keyboard? Yeah, keep me posted on what you figure out. So we'll say an effect.effect. I don't know how this can fail. This is probably the same interface as the same interface as S3, possibly. S3 object body type def TypeScript. Does it have array buffer, text, JSON, and blob methods? All right, I need to figure out what these errors are, and I'm trying to think about where I would find that. Because I don't think it would be, maybe it would be in here. Worker D. All right, we're gonna have Claude do some more work here. Yoink that. We'll go over here. We'll say Claude continue. We're gonna compact. Basically, like tables are like A, B, C, bullshit 1, bullshit 2, somewhere every round of Mongo, and I'm trying to. Yeah, Mongo might actually be a good tool for this, to be honest. And like I think Mongo even has like a good MapReduce API with it. It's been years since I've used Mongo. Mongo DB MapReduce. Yeah, here we go. Yeah. This is probably a really good use case for this, John. Does the interface of the object match one-to-one just wrap to effect? Yeah, that's the goal here. There you go. If you look at like what we did with what we've done so far is we've basically taken the async version, right? So here's we get a promise, right? We have get, we have all these functions on here. Dot. All those, and they return promises. Something's wrong with my LSP. Don't know why. But up here, you can see that this like is the effectful version, and it's automatically wrapped with a. Here's the types that we went through and made. Basically the same exact interface. Offer and transform JSON to JSON and save. Yeah, we could do that. I want to get parity first before I go through and start making like more opinionated APIs. But I am interested in that for sure. Damn it, I just lost my copy paste. Yoink. Find the errors that these functions can throw when using R2 object bodies. Search the docs, workers, SDK, API docs, etc. Ultrathink. While that's cooking there, the next thing we're going to do is D1. And I know Effect already has some D1 stuff. So let's go to the Effect repo and look at what they have. In fact, I think I have the Effect repo locally that we could just do this. Effect, we'll go up into Effect. We'll get status. I don't think we need any of this stuff anymore. Whatever, we'll just do this. Whip, and we'll get checkout main. Let's check the origin, get remote, get URL origin. It's not what I want. So let's say we want to set URL, we'll say upstream. So we get at github.com. I think this is effect-ts. I'm never going to remember this. I did get it right. Wow. Look at me go, chat. And then we can git check out upstream main. Upstream main. Git pull upstream main. Do they not call their, are they? No, it's main. I don't know why that's pegged at a commit, but whatever. That is the head. So let's go in here. And I know that there is SQL D1. There's also a SQLite durable object, which is interesting. But let's look at SQL D1. It's in the README. Great. So we can make, takes D1 client config. This is going to end up returning a D1 client. We get a D1 database. D1 client extends client.sqlite. All right, let's just read the source here. Yeah, dude, I just went too hard on my payroll and human resources training yesterday, and just network couldn't take how hard in the paint I was going on my onboarding training. Did you use acquire use release of effect? I don't, I use that a lot, Bishal. So we get this, this returns a D1 client. So let's say we have a D1 client. Say we declare const D1, this will be a D1 client. What does this let us do here? D1 dot in. Okay. Do we have like we have an insert? Update. Reactive on dialect. Update values. Reactive mailbox with transaction. I'm curious if I want to deviate. What is the actual API for let's say we have one of these. We'll do just X again. We'll say that's a D1 database. Declare const X. All right, so this is the native batch. We can wrap this, and then we'll have a, we can like re-export this potentially. Dump is deprecated. Okay, I think we can be... This is going to be an easier one to wrap, I think. While you learned effect, did you have any good resources besides the official docs? It's a bit hard for me to find things in the official docs. Yeah, I don't think the official docs are good at all. I still think that... actually, I use these. I use the API docs a lot. And I also think... I shared this the other day. But kits, Kit Langton, yeah, we'll just go here. Visual effect. I think this is the best way to build an intuition for some of effects APIs. Like even I think for like Vishal and John or somebody's talking about acquire, use, release. I'm pretty sure he has that in here. Yeah, acquire, not use, but acquire, release. So acquire, release is like Bishal, you're a Go developer. It'd be similar to using like defer. So the release callback here, the second argument is going to be similar to your defer function or keyword in Go. There are some like differences in that like acquire, release is a little bit more powerful in the way that it kind of almost works a little bit closer to Rust lifetimes. The release, there's this concept of a scope in effect, and a scope is like an actual like a value that you can provide to an effect, and it can map pretty closely to lexical scope, but it's similar in the way of lifetimes that like a lifetime doesn't necessarily map one-to-one with the lexical scope of a single function. In the same way, effect, you can extend the scope of some effect to be beyond a single function. So like Go can't do that, right? Like Go's defer keyword is scoped explicitly to the lexical scope of a single function. When that function exits, the defer keyword is going to run. However, with effect, you can kind of define where the boundaries of a scope are. So when that scope exits, then your release function runs. But yeah, it's like you can see here the examples are like we're going to connect to a database to acquire. Whatever this returns is the value here. And then this will run when the scope exits. So we're going to get our database, we can go use it, and then when the scope exits, we're going to close the database. Likewise with the cache and the logger. So if we run this, and it's going to go in reverse order. You can see that there, the finalizers, right? This is what these are called, finalizers. If we rerun this again, right? We make our database. It's queuing up these into a stack, right? And then it pops off the stack to run the finalizers. Dude, I love Kit. His stuff is so good. I don't know. It's been too long since I've written Go. I'd have to look that up. So we figured out the interface for D1 is actually pretty simple. Let's just quit out of there. Quit all. Is this thing, oh my God, just run. I hate that, like, So much of this upfront work is making Claude do work. And yeah, so the acquire finalizers in effect are guaranteed to run during interruption, unless you write. You can use like a interruptible. In fact, I don't. I think they will always run. Who played this? I also like using acquire, use, release for testing with effect. So like you can use acquire and release like you would use before and after in normal JavaScript testing with like Vitest or Jest, and like you can make a testing layer that has a final like a an acquire and a release in it, and you can provide that layer. So that's like guaranteed to run for every test, and then like within your own test, you can run it using like acquire, use, release, and add like basically before for individual ones. It's so good. We were doing that at Vercel. All right, here we go. From the fetch API body mixins. Oh, hell yeah, brother. Now update the R2. Now add a type called R2. What was it? R2 body. Object body. Effect that converts those functions to effect that uses effects with typed errors rather than promises / rejecting. Yep. Add a raw that exposes the promise based. Oh, damn it. Should bucket.head also change or stay as R2 object? We can actually replace R2 object with this type rather than making a new one. And head should use this type as well. Go forth, friend, and conquer. So next, we can probably, we'll say this is going to be Claude D1. And we'll go back to effect. We're going to have Claude do the D1 interface since it's pretty simple. And then we're going to start researching how we might do durable objects, because that's going to be a harder implementation than just what we've been doing with these kind of other clients. Let's see if I have... Yeah, here we go. D1. Whoa. The same way / patterns that we did for I'll take that blame. All right. I don't like that API. We're going to fix that there. All right, so let's create a durable object in our Scratch file now. And we're going to figure out how we want to make durable objects effect-based. And this is probably the part that's going to require some actual taste and opinions that's not AI. I want the docs, please. Just send me to the docs. How do I get to the docs? Where are durable objects? Durable objects. Documentation. Thank you. I started on Monday. My title is Principal Engineer. Bro, I got tagged so many times yesterday. Look at this. Ethan got me. That was 5 hours ago. Let's see here. all this entire thread. Metame texted me.
Describe the world.
Sam texted me. Spy. Oh my god. Eagle got me. Sus reply, I think not. Someone in Discord, CF recently hired Dylan. He migrated their info to effect. On Dane's post, freaking Michael, we all know it's Dylan Mulroy. Bro, I got fucking piled on yesterday. Metame came back on Twitter, which was like, when was the last time that he did anything on Twitter? This was, yeah, me getting tagged in all this yesterday. Look at this. Look at this. I got tagged so many times. Dude, Meta, I know I've said this on stream already, but Meta was at my wedding, and it was so much fun to hang out with Meta in person. Okay, sorry, I'm getting distracted. I have like, I don't know if I took my meds this morning. His beard is more glorious in real life. I can confirm that. For sure. Alright, let's go make sure this thing's cooking. Alright, we gotta answer these questions for this stupid bot. Session API testability be tested. I don't know. Figure it out. Let's see. Error message stability. Our error. You need to research the docs and workers SDK to determine this. Search the docs, workers SDK, and Cloudflare API doc/TS client. Metadata optionality, which I don't know. Figure it out, dog. This is your job. I don't know. Figure it out. And research it. I don't know. Figure it out and research it. Dude, what is it? This bot got fucking lazy. No. New only. We can ignore dump as it's deprecated. Don't even add it to our interface. Probably unknown. Let them in. Probably unknown. Ultra. Think. Box. I take I take the highest pediatric dose of Vyvanse to help with ADHD. I take 20 milligrams of Vyvanse. Dude, it makes a huge difference. It really does. I got diagnosed when I was 30 or 31, 30, and like it just makes so much make sense from like high school and college, and just like the way I go about life. Sometimes it's just it's made figuring out how to make better systems for myself. Um, what were the symptoms? It's hard to say. Like you guys probably see it on my stream. Like I'm very distractible, even when I am on my meds. But like there was a TikTok that made me question if I had ADHD. It was like the premise was this girl who was like doing chores on a weekend, and she started doing like the dishes, and then she saw like trash on the counter, so she threw the trash away, and then she saw that the trash bag was full, so she took the trash out, and on the way to taking the trash out she felt like the garage wasn't clean, so she started cleaning the garage, and then she found like a book or something in the garage that she hadn't seen for years, started reading that, and then remembered that she was in the middle of doing dishes like an hour earlier. I was like, that's like me to a T. So that kind of started it. My Vyvanse, at least on my old, this is my old medical insurance. It was $30 for a month supply. So basically $1 a day. And like there's just things that I will put off until the very last moment, but then like I execute insanely well under pressure at the last moment. Like tight deadlines are really good for me, even though they are stressful, because I like end up like hyper focusing, which can be good and bad. Um, yeah, I don't know. I was still trying to figure out the right way of building systems that work for me, but it's helped me understand some of uh, the reasons I've been successful and I've also been unsuccessful throughout my life. Yeah, well, I actually went off of Vyvanse for a year because I had to switch insurance plans at Vercel one year, and I had to switch to I don't even remember what I switched to. Insurance is so fucking stupid in the U.S., but like it ended up going to $400, and I just didn't take it for a year. Yeah, like I do this thing where I will read a DM or a text message. I do this with my friends and family. I do this for everyone, and it's so bad. And like I will either I will think of a response and then not actually write it, or I'll be like, "Oh, I'll come back to that in a minute," and then I forget to respond. So if I ever forget to respond to something you send me in DMs, anyone in chat, because I I respond to pretty much all of my Twitter DMs. If I owe you a response, do not feel bad for badgering me and like poking me and reminding me. Uh, like I shouldn't need that, And I understand that's annoying, but like, don't feel bad doing it either. Like, you're not bothering me at all. Like, I appreciate it. Yeah, same, Jaden. All right, we're gonna want to clean up what this bot did here. Let's go ahead and move this over. It was me, yeah. I went too hard in my HR training. I also have a meeting at 10, so I'm gonna have to wrap up here in like a couple minutes, chat. Hey Siri, set a timer for 7 minutes. This is not a work project. This is just, my goal is to have this merged into Effect platform as Effect Platform Cloudflare. I want this to not be that. I want, let's go back here and we're gonna delete this. I don't need this to be a symbol. We're gonna follow the same pattern that we used. There we go. That looks like a pretty nice API. Okay. Does that take a generic parameter? R2, is that object? I don't think that takes a custom metadata. Okay. That works for me. All right, this looks pretty good. Have you had a look at that Alchemy effect package at all? I have. I actually hopped on a call with Sam that runs Alchemy and is building Alchemy Run last week and had a good conversation. For like, honestly, we chatted for almost like an hour and a half, 2 hours. I like Sam a lot. I'm very bullish on Alchemy Effect. So very excited there. Let's see where this thing's at here. This isn't gonna get finished. All right, I have to get wrapped up here for a meeting in 5 minutes. So we are going to raid. I'm working on trying to get my stream starting time earlier and waking up earlier. Fun employment and the wedding wrecked my schedule for waking up. Your TS Air plugin is very cool. I'm using it. Hell yeah. If you find any bugs, let me know or open a PR on issue. It should be pretty solid now, though. Do we want to go watch Closure, OCaml, or CSS? Anyone have preferences? Closure, OCaml, or CSS? OCaml? Closure? OCaml? Alright, we'll rate Eduardo. The GOAT himself. Alright, y'all. Have a kick-ass Wednesday, and I'll chat with y'all tomorrow.